might think you know Stan Lee, but here are 12 facts you may not have known about the only comics creator your grandmother has probably heard of. Stan Lee was born Stanley Martin Lieber on December 28, 1922. He decided to shorten his name to Stan Lee as a pen name to use when writing comics so that he could save his full name for more serious literature. And I guess that's probably coming any day now. In 1939, Lee became an assistant at Timely Comics, which would later become Marvel Comics, filling inkwells, getting lunch for artists, and erasing pencil lines. It probably didn't hurt his job prospects that his cousin Gene was married to Timely publisher Martin Goodman. 2 years later, Lee graduated from office boy to writer, writing a prose story called Captain America Foils the Traitor's Revenge in Captain America Comics number 3. This story introduced the idea of Cap throwing a shield and it bouncing around and hitting multiple enemies, which would go on to become one of his signature moves. After a year of writing comics for Timely, introducing such characters as the Destroyer, Jack Frost, and Father Time, Lee enlisted in the Army in 1942, where he worked for the Training Film Division, writing training manuals, films, and explanatory cartoons. His official military classification was playwright. By the mid-50s, Timely had become Atlas Comics and was publishing a wide variety of genres, from romance to western to horror to teen humor. However, competitor DC Comics had revived the superhero genre, and in 1961, under Martin Goodman's instruction, Lee and Jack Kirby created the Fantastic Four, thus beginning the Marvel Revolution. Lee's flair for bombastic dialogue and characterization, together with art from guys like Jack Kirby and Steve Ditko, helped to make Marvel into a sensation. Additionally, Lee made Marvel readers feel like part of the gang with the Bullpen Bulletin's news page and his long-running Stan's Soapbox column. During the 60s, Lee was writing, co-writing, or editing every book in Marvel's lineup, and so he created what would become known as the Marvel Method. He would brainstorm a story with the artist, and the artist would draw it based on a short synopsis. Lee would then later go in and write dialogue over the finished art. In 1971, the US Department of Health asked Lee to write a story addressing the issue of drugs. Lee complied with Amazing Spider-Man number 96 to 98, in which Peter Parker's friend Harry becomes addicted to pills. At the time, drug use in comics was banned by the Comics Code, so the issues ran without the code's approval. The issues sold very well, and soon the Comics Code revised its guidelines. Despite his perception by the public as the most famous comics writer in the world, Lee actually stopped writing monthly comics in 1972 when he took on the role of publisher for Marvel Comics, and then later moved to the West Coast to help develop Marvel's TV and movie properties. In 1971, Lee's former collaborator Jack Kirby lampooned Marvel, and Lee in particular, in the pages of his book Mr. Miracle. Marvel Comics was depicted as a slave plantation, and Lee was depicted as Funky Flashman, a huckster and credit thief. According to rumor, it was because of this parody that Lee shaved the beard he wore at the time into his now trademark mustache. In 1998, Lee helped to form Stan Lee Media, an internet-based production studio. They worked on a project about the Backstreet Boys as superheroes, but soon went bankrupt. Lee formed POW Entertainment in 2001, which developed the TV show Stripperella and an unaired show about Ringo Starr as a superhero. Despite being best known for his work in helping develop the Marvel Universe, Lee contributed a number of one-shots to DC in 2001 called Just Imagine, which presented different versions of DC's most famous characters, such as Batman, Superman, and Wonder Woman, as if they had been created by Stan Lee. Technically, these versions of the characters still exist and live on Earth 6. That's it for this episode of You Think You Know Comics. Don't forget to like this video, subscribe to Comics Alliance for more comic facts, and check out comicsalliance.com for more comic awesomeness.